started with the webinar, a quick introduction about myself. I'm Pamna Munisha Mappa, as Vinisha introduced. I'm an SAP HCM consultant. I've been associated with Talent Team for about 2 years now, and then it's been an amazing journey. And then before associating with Talent Team, I was been part of other organizations as well prior back in India. So I have a long experience as part of a SuccessFactors solutions. All right. So as you all know today, the presentation is all about report stories and then which is a next generation of reports. So we will start quickly with the agenda. Hope you all can see the screen before I start. Okay, perfect. Vinisha, can you see my next slide by any chance? I think.
No.
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to move to the next slide, but looks like no.
Do you want to stop sharing and then start it again?
Yep. Yeah, I can do that. Sorry about that. Just give me a second. Okay. Hope you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Perfect. I think now I can. Okay. So now to quickly start with an agenda, of course, we would be talking and then deep dive into report stories as part of a people analytics solution, where we would be talking through the solution overviews and the capability highlights of the report stories and the key features and the functionalities the report stories offer, and also a report stories analytics landscape and a brief demo how to create a report stories and also about the templates of report story. When we say about the templates of a report story, any user starting to create a report, they really don't have to start anything from the scratch. Rather, there are a standard templates or a guide that really helps an end user to start, go ahead and create the report, which is really rich in content and how to, access those templates and etc. But considering a fact is very important to understand as a product as a whole, as a SAP People Analytics solution, we would also be highlighting on its HCM to HXM transformation and also about People Analytics strategies and what is an architecture. So it's really important to understand a product from the architecture or a strategy point of view before we really start understanding on the report stories. And also we have added certain additional resources and slides which will actually help you when you start preparing for the presentations or when you start uh, to present the report stories, also to use the report stories, how we can actually guide you. And as my colleague Vinisha highlighted, we do have a Q&A session where the panel is open. You can post any questions that are related to the report stories. We can take that up at the end of the session. All right. Okay. So as you can see in the slide now, you could see there is an HXM suite things where you can just see that there is a people analytics and then an analytics and planning and employee experience is part of this solution. As part of the transformation from HCM to human capital management to human experience management, where an experience of an employee is considered to be heart of any solution, that is our success factors solution as well. We're considering reports, creating the reports is one such key areas where it's not only about creating a report. You have your data. When you want to create an effective report, you have to analyze the data effectively, utilize the data effectively. You need to have the product to be engaging where it should offer you an employee better employee experience. So that's where the focus is towards, not just you have a platform, you create a report, rather it also helps the product should be engaging and easy for for the user to use, so that you get a best out of the product. As per the current HR trends and the key functions, that the analytics solution should support these parameters as a mandatory. When we say engaging experience, it's not just a platform you can create a report, rather it should be an engaging, where it should guide an employee or an user when they're actually generating the reports or anything that they're doing as part of the product. And also quick access to analysis. The data or an extract results that you fetch should be quick enough. You should not do any transformation like exporting the data offline and then doing some manipulation to the data and then putting that back to the system and then massaging the data to get a certain outcome. Rather, you have a system, it should be easy for you to extract the data and pull the reports or a data insights for whatever you are looking forward. When we talk about from the clear steps perspective, it's not just about you have a data, you have a required outcome. What's next is something what matters. And also, a product should drive an operational success as well as a business success. So that's what the HXM mandate says, that these are the key parameters that a human experience management solution should have. That's where there is a focus or a shift, a massive change in people analytics solution now, that we would feel it as we start going to report stories in detail. And now, so introduction to SAP People Analytics. So before we get started with an SAP Success Factors reporting solution as a product as a whole, it's not only, we know that SAP is not just limited to Success Factors. You have SAP Procurement, you have SAP EMM, which is called Material Management. You have, so basically SAP has its own entire ERP systems, right? So similarly, SAP as a product offers different people analytics solution, which is an overall reporting solution. It could be a workforce analytics, it could be a workforce planning as well, where few of the solution would be part of your success factors solutions and few would be in externals like workforce analytics. So when we talk in a very high level, a key features of reporting solutions are can be categorized into these four areas where it's far beyond that. But however, when we talk from the high level functionality perspective, there is an role-based permissions to manage the access. No matter which reports are shared with the user, depending on the permissions that the person has, you would only see an access to that particular data. So basically, if I'm a manager, I would be able to see the data within a dashboard or any kind of report shared across to me for the area which I am, responsible for, or for which areas I have permission to. And also about filtering the data. When you have, let's say, if we are interested only to fetch the information of a particular department or a division, filters can be applied to the data so that whenever you are sharing the information or a report to anybody, you are actually sending relevant information to the population that are interested to access certain data. So where this report would really massively use sometimes to give some of the examples. Well, sometimes I'm interested only about an active user's information, sometimes we would be interested only in terminated records. So in this way, you can use these filters effectively to build a better operational reports to to ensure that there is an operational success. And also drill down. So this is something very a very important feature as well. So whenever you have a data insight and a report to itself, it is very important to drill down to an extent to the level that I'm interested in the data. For example, if I'm interested to see the ratings of some ratings, how the company at the country level performing, then I would like to further drill down. Well, this country is really performing well, can we know which department has a huge contribution, which department is really performing well? And then, is there any bifurcation that we would like to do? Is that a male population or a female or anything related to gender, that which population is really performing well? So this level data drill down would be available as part of this particular solutions as well. And also to act to schedule the reports, where if you want to schedule to an SFTP server, and then for example for any kind of integrations with the systems, you can schedule these reports out and also send out the action reports when it's necessary. This is from a strategy point of view. So what is this SAP People Analytics solution offers? If you can see here, within this particular people analytics solutions, you have 4 different solutions. You can just see in a high level here. There is SAP SuccessFactors operational reporting, specifically stories reporting, which is towards an HR operational success. And then, depending on the purpose or depending on the strategy that an organization has, in case for the organization is looking for something, an operational success, they can go with the success factors story reports. And also for the organizations where there is a data driven approach, a strategically data driven strategical planning, in such cases for the business success, where the best fit solutions would be SAP Analytics Cloud Planning and SAP Analytics Cloud. And also for operational success, we do have another one that is called Workforce Analytics. So depending on the need of an organization and what area or what is that an organization is looking forward, SAP has these reporting capabilities or reporting tools. The organization can choose a best fit accordingly. Further drilling down this particular strategy point of view, you could see here, as part of an HR operational success, an SAP success factors reporting is towards operational success, where within the report center, what are the tools that are supporting towards an operational success? I'm sure if people who have worked earlier or generated or used any kind of reports, we could have heard certain terminologies like a canvas reports or a dashboard or a tile report that we could have potentially been used. So these are some of the reporting tools that are supporting the operational reporting. And also the stories reporting, which is again towards an operational success, where most of the time you're dealing with the live or a transactional reporting. So basically, you are always referring to a live data, not just any kind of replicated data. For example, if there is any change to the data, you can always come, and then whenever you fetch the report, you see the latest information. These are the reports, like kind of reports that we can build would be ideal for compliance and the process related reports can be built, and this would come as part of a success factors licensing. Okay, where you don't need to have any additional cost required as part of any modules that we are using within the success factors. You have this product in within the platform. And similarly, you have your SAP Analytics Clouds that is towards your business success, and then where you can have a predictive based analysis even with your workforce analytics as well, where you have a standard metrics which you can potentially use, whether it could be for your business success or towards your organizational success, to ensure there is a data driven strategies. All right, so moving on to the next one, which is from the architecture point of view. Here you could see, as I was highlighting, it's important to understand from the architecture point of view how the data is being available for the various other reporting tools. It's not always the success factors reporting tool. So here you could see there is a success factors database. We have a tiles or a dashboards, and then we have a table or a canvas or a story report which uses the success factors data as part of the product. And then you have this workforce analytics that we were talking about, SAC, that is SAP Analytics Cloud. In addition to SAP SuccessFactors data, you can also have an external databases, like it could be your finance systems, it could be your procurement system or a sales system, where you can actually have a more, you know, advanced kind of reporting or an analysis in comparison with finance, in comparison with sales, and etc. And also the workforce analytics information also takes the data from the success factor database, which can again be used in your SAC to build a more, extensive based analysis and the comparison. Well, to highlight this, SAP Analytics Cloud and the Workforce Analytics comes as an additional cost, but however, these are the tools that does not need any additional costing, including our stories do not need any additional costing. Okay. And then further, when we see this particular architecture point of view, here we could see that how the databases is connecting. When you're processing, you could see here the operational based reporting, and then strategic metric based reporting is your workforce analytics or SAP Analytics Cloud for that matter. You have your, dashboards and report stories, and then ad hoc and a detailed reports and an advanced reporting. Depending on whether you're using employee central, then you would be using an advanced reporting. In case if you're not using employee central as a product, then it would be detailed reporting. So here you could have a transactional list of reports, and then this is how the query is read. You could just see from the LMS, then the data goes into this particular designer, and there comes, and then this is how we can fetch the reports within the SuccessFactors solution. All right. So now let's start with report stories. So we did speak about the various tools that's been available. We did speak about workforce analytics. We did speak about SAP Analytics Cloud, and we did speak about an SAP SuccessFactors People Analytics solution as well. Now, specifically, we're going to concentrate on the stories, which is part of SAP SuccessFactors solution. So, well, what is stories then? So here you can all see there is a pictorial representation of what is this stories here. There is this SAP success factors capabilities combined with your SAP Analytics Cloud capabilities is what a result of story report. So basically the capabilities of SAP success factors tool and also the visual capabilities of SAP Analytics Cloud is what results your story report, which is very evident with this. The story reports are far more powerful than what we have our SAP SuccessFactors reporting tool, what we could have seen so far. It could be in your dashboard, it could be in your tile, or it could be in your canvas. So it's going to be beyond that, a lot more capabilities that would come as part of the product. As you could see, it's getting clubbed with your SAP Analytics Cloud. And then so what is the story reports consolidates? What are this? So it's a consolidation of all the capabilities or a transactional reporting tools that was being available in your SuccessFactors solution. And then also it enables you to build a cross-suit reporting on the live data. And also you can see that people analytics stories are being available as part of your platform, which we did highlight in a last slide, where you literally do not need any additional costing. Without any costing, you are getting the capabilities of SAP Analytics Cloud as well. Okay, to start with highlights of stories in people analytics. So what is this stories all about? What are the highlights? As we were referring to, this is going to be a future of entire success factors reporting solutions. It's going to be one stop consolidated solution to the entire reporting in the success factors. The toughest job which was happening in the last previous reporting tools that we were using with this part of success factors, you were supposed to move around. Like sometimes when you want to build a dashboard, you were supposed to pick the domain as dashboard or a tile report. When you need a list report, then you used to go for table report. Sometimes when you want to build a more complex calculation, we used to navigate to the canvas report. Now it's not going to be that way. Report stories is going to be one stop solution irrespective of any kind of reports that we would be building, whether it could be a dashboard, it could be a list, or it could be a more complex report that you need to bring. which is available as part of 1H 2022. This solution is available in the production environment. However, the lot of capabilities have been added in the few of the releases. And why it is really important, why the story is as important now, the first and foremost is also as part of an HCM, you know strategies, where it's about a human experience as well, not just a tool to build and extract the report. It's about an experience, how engaging is that tool. That's one of the key thing, where you're also dealing with live SAP success factors data. Any data you're referring is a live data, and there are an intelligent joins across the modules. Initially, this was a drawback where from the Employee Central, we could not navigate to any other modules like performance management or any other module you wanted to do it. But now you can navigate from one database to another one. If I'm interested with an Employee Central, merging with the performance management report, with the complex calculations in between, I can always do that using, intelligent joins, where the system would automatically suggest me certain, tables or a database that I can connect with directly without switching the schemas. And it's a single unified solution. As I said, we don't have to move around the pages and try to figure out where should we build a report and etc. Now it's going to be one stop solution. And again, as all the other tools, it is secured within RBP permission, irrespective of the filters you have applied in the reports or not. Depending on what data a person has permission to, only those information end user would be able to see. And also people centric, which is data privacy and protection are in place. And what's the prerequisite? We know that's capabilities. Well, there are a lot of capabilities, and what is the prerequisite if we want to use these stories? The first one is SAP Cloud Identity Authentication Services. You need to have your IAS in place. And the next one is you need to have your report center enabled. And remember to highlight again, we do not need any separate license required, which is part of the platform. And any modules you have, no matter whether you have just one module or a two module license too, you can still go ahead and start using this particular, report stories. And some of the other, key features and capabilities are listed this way. As I said, you have the suite-wise analysis by including the data from multiple modules. It's not restricted to one module at a time now, whether sometimes when you're using, it's not only you want to use onboarding. If you want to use onboarding merged with an RCM, and then you want to get some insights to your data, you can do that now. And which is much easier to do it. Just let me move this down, sorry. Okay, and then also leverage the improved schema structure. Figuring out the data where which field information is stored was a quite a painful task in the earlier reporting tools. However, now you can find the data element very quickly and easily. And also you can search the fields across the schema. You can find any fields within the schemas that we are using in our report, and then we can start building those reports. And also you can have a job profile builder was not reported in your Canvas or other reporting tool. Now you can have your job profile builder or a spot awards or a custom MDF objects are also reported, including onboarding is reported in this story reports. You have, as I said, this has a lot more additional capabilities than that we have seen in our Canvas or in any other reporting tool. You have some additional calculations that you can do, or functions that you can potentially use. Could be like you contains, length, and uppercase, just to name few. And also report creating the report irrespective of your data permission. I think this is something interesting. So when I say, irrespective of data permission, well, let's say I, as an user, I'm not eligible to see certain compensation information. I could still see a field when I'm actually creating a report, but then when I run the report, I don't see any data in it. but rather when I share those reports to anybody who has the access to that particular field, then they get to see the data. So basically, when you're running, if you don't have a permission, you can't see those data, but still you could see only the field names. That's it. Okay. And moving on to the next one. I'm sorry. I think I just have an issue with sharing. Just give me a second. Okay. Perfect. Okay, we did see about what are the areas that we can really report on, and then creating the report irrespective of the permissions. And remember, as the name suggests, this particular report, when we talk about stories, as this name suggests, you can tell a story around your data, which is a presentation based style. You can just have that report run in front of the stakeholders and talk about the insights that particular report gives. Okay, and then you can also have far more advanced date-based calculations and the calculations on the Boolean fields. You can also create and display the ratio, like gender ratios within a report. If you want to do that ratio calculations, you can do that. And you can also see the fields relevant to your data elements using the joins without you manually navigating. So for example, if I have my performance management report being built, I don't if I also want some of the compensation fields within that, I don't really have to navigate out, create another database and connect the compensation. Rather, I can use the same schema and then try to pick those fields using the joins. So basically, you can report on the fields from different schemas. And also, interestingly, you can also have, these access to these reports from the home page by adding that into your reporting tab as a favorite shortcut. You can also proxy and run this report in case if you have a proxy permissions. Well, this is the landscape of the people analytics solution within the success factors, which gives a clear distinguish between what are each of these tools about, where you have your tile dashboard and list comparison. You could see here story has a list. You can have the list reports built, you can have your pivot tables built, you can have the charts, you can have aggregations, you can have a calculations, you can have the formatting, you can do a lot more formatting. And in fact, when we say the charts, it's not just a normal one, it's really modern. You can have your you know different kinds of charts, really, like stack, like cluster bubble, all these kind of charts you can have. And we'll see how and what are the different types of charts available as well in the system, and the modules that are reported. And you could also see there is one more thing within the other one. There are a lot of reports within the content store of the success factors. You can pick the reports from the system and then review that and then upload it and start using it. And again, it's a multi-page, it's not a one-page report. You can have a lot of pages within the single report. As I said, you can create a story around your data, and then you have multiple data sources. So that's something you can't even see in the canvas. Basically, you're referring to multiple data sources, like it could be from one module to another module. And importantly, you have an interactive chat. When I say interactive chat, depending on the data that's been available in the one chat, I can connect it to another chat, so that depending on the values that I have, I can influence another one to behave based on the action side. All right, so now quickly we'll start with the demo. I'll just stop sharing for a minute and then I'll log into the system and then I'll start sharing. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we would be saying how to create a story report within the system. And before we get there, it's important. So, well, we have seen there are a prerequisite, but how do we enable stories in our instance? It's quite simple. You really don't need a support from the partners as well. It's very, very straightforward. You can go to upgrade center and enable the stories so that you have stories in place. And remember, you need to have your users saying from the success factors to your SAP Analytics Cloud. That's where the IAS plays a role. And general permission, like other reports, you need to have a permissions to create or using the reports. Whether you need to have create a story permissions, you need to have a story admin permissions. Like when you have a create permission to the story, what happens is you're allowing you to create, run, delete, or edit and import, export, duplicate. So basically you have all the privileges when you want to create a report. So you have all the actions that is available to you. And obviously as a story admin, you can manage all the reports within the stories. Not only about the story report, you can manage including your content store, etc. Like picking the reports, standard reports from the system. Everything can be handled when you are a story admin. And then schedule report permission. For a user to schedule the report, you need to have have a permission to schedule the reports. Again, which module information a person need to pick, for which you need to have the schema permission, whether to select the schema or not. And as I said, you can access the data only when you have enabled a permission. Okay. And when I say that permission, it's the picking fields, you can do it, but then however, you need to have a schema permission to see that particular module area and then pick these certain fields. Okay. So basically you can access the data, can't access the data unless and until you have permission. So that's where you need to have the schema permissions. All right. So now I'm just navigating the system quickly. So this is the demo clue I have for my reference, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Let me know if you all can see the screen, system screen. Vinisha, could you confirm if you can see the screen? A success factor system?
So far we only see the PPT.
Okay. Let me just try to stop share and try to reshare again. Okay. Hope you all can see the screen now.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so as all the other, reporting tool, how do we access this? So the access remains the same. You need to have an access to, reporting tool. So you'll navigate from here to the reporting tool, which I'm sure most of us would be familiar to. So when I start creating a report, you need to click on new. In addition to the, different types of reports that we have, we can also have this story report. So for a person to create a story report, you need to click on this particular story and then create a story. Now, as soon as you click on a create new, you can just navigate to this particular page where you're actually going to select the database. So this is the query designer where you could see the various modules that are available for you and then which you can potentially use to build the report. Now I'm gonna try to pick something from the job information, and then we'll navigate from there. Okay, to add this particular database, you have to just drag and drop. Before you drag and drop, if you wanna see any fields that are relevant, whether is it relevant to me, is this something a right thing I'm looking forward, you can always expand and try to move around this particular page. Now, when I drag and drop, you could see there is a database that's been added. I can come here, click on this select. I can select the fields which I'm actually interested about. You can you can do the control F or search within this one, and you can find this information. Okay, if I'm interested with the hiring date, if I'm interested with something, I can always come here and then select. And as I said, there is some joints that system would suggest you when you to do that, you need to click on this show related tables. As soon as I clicked on here, you could see here, this does not only navigate to me to employee central related informations. Okay, can you see here the position management, time management, and etc. It's not only redirects me to only navigate to that, rather it also allows me to pick anything that is related to performance management, or if I'm interested with any other modules like compensation, like any other thing, I can always come here and pick those information. I can always come expand here whatever the tables informations that I need. I can click on this information, select the fields in this way. So for example, if I think I'm interested with the department or a division or any other information, I can always come and then try to select these fields. Okay. Now, as soon as I do it further, right? If I want to navigate further from the basic information, I can always click and try to see whether is there something I'm looking forward. You can always expand those informations. All right. So now to save it, I can just come here, click on finish, provide the name of your database, and then click on OK. And if it is the database you selected is based on the effective date, you can do that. And in fact, you can pull the date range based filters. You can have an as of date, etc. Everything is possible. And let me show you how quick and easy is for you to just create a one dashboard. I have this in within the insert. You have this particular dashboard, chat, type, and etc. You can always come here, try to pull one of the dashboard, add one of the dashboard. Automatically, there is a page that engages the users as well. Okay, I added a dashboard type. There is a pop-up that appears for me to add. Let me try to add some of the information and show you what kind of report I'm doing. I'm just saying that count based on division or a department, and then either you can have in there, or I can also do something like this. I will do that. Well, I'm interested with gender bifurcation. Can you see here? It it aligns very beautifully, like department wise. You have this 17 male employees, and then you have 7 and one as null or whatever. And accordingly it gives you, and it's very simple. You just add quickly by dragging and dropping and selecting the fields. And also, if you think that, well, I'm not interested with color panel, I would like to play around with the colors, you can do it. And you can set the panels, which gives you more control over how you want to visualize your data. And also, you have a lot of charts, not just this bar or bar graph and a chart. You can have combine a line with this particular one. You can select this tag depending on x-axis and a y-axis and what information you want to display. Accordingly, all these informations can be displayed, and you can play around with this particular trend. If you are interested with stacked everything, so I'm trying to show you here the different types of visuals that you can use. It may not be a best fit for the use case. Now here, according to your use case, you can always come and then play around whether you want to display as part of like a donut or a pie chart, or just a numbers you would like to display, and etc. All those things can be done within this particular database. Not only about this particular database, in addition to it, if you have any other models that you want to link, you can link that particular area in here. And always you can go here, try to edit. And also, right, you can also have filters at this particular chart level. Well, I'm interested about the filter to add. I just want to see a male information or a female information. I can do that. If I want to add anything like an input controller, I can do it as well. So input control is nothing but I would like to control this particular page, or just certain tiles which you want to control, depending on what variable do you want to control. Is it based on a department or a division? All these informations filters you can add in here. Okay. uh, and then let me scroll. here down. In this way, let's say, well, I have a bar chart now. I'm also interested to have the table because I would like to interested to see what are the employees information, not just account. You can again add that type of measure or table list. Try to add the fields that you are interested about. For example, if you need the employee IDs, if you think I need the department, I think I need this hire date information, gender, whatever. So what all fields you need, you can always add those information here. So which is quite quick, which is very, very quick to do it. Okay, so can you see here? Accordingly, you have all this information. And now, if you want to change the alignment, okay, well, I would like to display somewhere down bottom, you can drag and drop. So basically, it's quite simple and better to use instead of canvas. It's far more advanced in terms of what you want to do it. So now, just to show you more capabilities around this report, I would show you some of the reports that we have built, and then I will show you some of the capabilities that we can have around it. Okay, I'm just trying to pull few of the reports from the system that we have it ready. Okay, now I'm just trying to pin this up. Okay, now just to show you few examples, the type of reports or a complex things that we can build. You can just see here, well, you have a department-wise distributions as an end user. You can see what is the performance distribution, breakdown based on the gender, based on the location. If you want to play around the parameters, you can just see depending on the data that we select, all these particular dashboard tiles are getting updated. If you think that no, I would not want to control all the tiles available, but rather I would like to control only few of them, you can control those as well. And just to show you type of graphs that we have, not only your bar chart and things like that. If you want to build a radar type of chart, you can build. It's all about the visualization and what type of data you're trying to, pull the report on. Accordingly, you can, report on different areas of the report. So can you also see here, you can have, this way country-wise breakup for each country. Well, I would like to see the information about each country in this way and play around the information. You have this region-wise information or the gender-wise if you want to have different visualization like a line graph, whatnot. So all these things you can have in this particular report build. Let me show you another one where we are trying to add the some of the images to present it more beautifully and then present well. This report talks about we have 147 employees for whom the performance is reviewed. I can see the breakup. Well, this is how the employees are performing. I can see a total I have 18 employees who are really a top performers in my organization. And then in which, is there any employees who have terminated out of this 18 specifically top performer? I see zero. So which means to say I have a retention rate of 100% for my top performers. Similarly, you can have this metrics built for the low performers or anything. So accordingly, you can just play around and try to build the reports. And one last report that I would like to show you is this one, how you can actually play around with the dimensions and actually work on it and to tweak to your business requirement accordingly. Okay. So now these are some of the visualizations or the capabilities that you can have here. You can see here the breakdown here talks about, well, what is the company's average performance, what's an average increase, what's the male and female average increase versus rating and things like that. And you have various filters or an input controller that you can use. Now, all the visualization I can see is department level, right? You can see top performed department, least performed department, and average increase per department and average increase per department, salary, etc. Now, I'm no longer interested in department, rather I'm interested in job level, right? As soon as I do this, all the chart, including the label and the insights that it gives me a further drill down into a job level instead of division. So you can build these kind of complex ones as part of this reporting tool capabilities. Yeah, so these are the some of the capabilities that I wanted to show you. And then here, just to add one last thing, and which is called as enable an explorer. What does this mean? So when I share the report, you may not give all type of combination or an insight to an end user, but by enabling the explorer, you give an access to an end user depending on what parameters he wants to explore. Whether is he interested with department and gender, or is he important on FT, or let's say I'm interested to explore on any other attributes, like, well, I would like to check something on higher date or division, whatever, right? So accordingly, as an end user, you give him that flexibility to explore the data visibility on which he wants to check. Okay, now I think I'm not interested in gender anymore, so let me pick department versus division, not sorry, only the division and the gender. He can play around where you give the end user the control over how you want to visualize with this explorer. He gets to explore the things around beyond the insights that we have given in a report. Yeah. So now moving on to the next one. So just some of the screenshot to show how you can do the data explorer and things like that and analysis. Now added few of the additional informations in this particular presentation. Well, some of the key release updates which we wanted to talk about. So there is a workflow configuration, different data sets. You can report on to report on anything related to workflow config, and also you can report on mentoring data, and also you can report on opportunity marketplace assignment in case if you're using opportunity marketplace module. And then you can also report on the current and target rules from your career worksheet. Now there was a gap in the performance management where the localized labels of the fields was not appearing for the logged in users, which you can still report now on the localized naming conventions as part of this story reports. And also you can now create a stories report stories from the data on the talent intelligence hub if you're using, or it could be you can report on the dynamic teams. And then also there could be a potential question, right? Mostly like, well, now I know this indirectly, this story report is getting connected to your SAP Analytics Cloud, and then but what if we have non-licensed SAP Analytics Cloud? We know that SAP Analytics Clouds as a major, as a product where the most of the capabilities of Analytics Cloud has been embedded in your story report. But however, SAP Analytics Cloud, just to add, you can connect with various other databases. It's not only success factors, right? You can have your finance data, you can have your procurement data, you can have your sales data, etc., where you have much more complex ones. But rather most of the capabilities of Analytics Clouds are part of your SAP SuccessFactors solution. And this is something has come up with the latest release. There is, as I was referring to, story report is going to be the future of all the SAP, reporting success factors reporting tool in the future. Now you could see the acts on that. Your canvas report or a tile or a dashboard report is going to reach end of maintenance or by 17th November 2023, but it is getting deleted or deprecated in November 21st, 2025. So basically the maintenance getting stopped somewhere in the November, but still there are any high priority tickets related to this table dashboard or canvas. You can still get, updates from SAP, but definitely it's getting deprecated on 2025. All right. So some of the additional resources again, as I was referring to, some of the best practices related SAP Analytics HR, we have added certain links. When if you think that, you can always go to the slide and refer and then try to, use this particular additional resources as you start with using these story reports. And also some of the two of the learning blocks that I have added here, just in case when you start learning about this particular story report, this gives you much more insights about how you should, or the capabilities that you can have. One last but not the least, just one feature to add. I was referring to the standard template what an SAP offers as a product, right? So what does that product offers? And then I was referring to, standard templates SAP provides for the report stories. How do you use it? Or a template that you can use, right? Within the success factors, before you start building a report from the scratch, you have something called as import option. When you click on import, you can find something from the content store. So here, if you could go to the content store, you will be finding all the list of stories reports that are available within the product. You can go to that particular module depending on the modules that you're using. You can always come here and try to import into your system with the certain validations after doing certain validation. And also before you add, it also gives you lot of technical documentation. When you click on that, you really have to navigate to help.sap directly, and then find the technical document. Even from here you can find the technical document. It gives you a list of reports that are available, and what does the information, what are the type of information available with that, everything would be given in detail. So when I clicked on certain report, it gives you entire information about, well, these are the charts available and how do you want to build it. So all those information and which objects you need to select, the component list, everything, and how to add the query into your query designer objects, and what are the filters you have to effectively use, and if there is any custom calculations you need to add, all those information in detailed are provided within this technical document. So before you get started, please refer to this list of documentation, see if this report somewhere it is available as part of a solution or not, and then you can go from there. Okay, so now just getting onto the slide, the last one, okay, is a Q&A session. So, Vinisha, do we have any questions? Yeah, I think so. I can.
Yeah, do you want to take it directly from the Q&A?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I'm doing it. Okay, already available. Okay, the question goes here. Is the story reports already available, or do you have a date of implementation? Okay, the story reports are already being available now in the system. It's just that you need to enable. So as of 2021ish 2020 the story reports are available as part of in the production. It's just that you need to enable from the upgrade center and then enable the sync. Okay, and then the next question, is it possible to add calculated columns in the filters? Yes, you can have a calculated columns added. You can build the calculations and then even effectively use that as the filters as well. And the next question is, are there pre-created out-of-box stories that we can just turn on as a starting point? I think I answered at last. We have a list of stories reports from the content store. You can in fact go and add those list and then start working from there. And remember, when you do so, you might, depending on the fields, let's say you might not be using certain standard fields or certain custom fields. Depending on that, you may get some errors when you actually import it. But you can always validate using the check tool. And however, even if not, you can always go and use that technical documentation which I brought up at the last, and then start creating the objects in that way. And the another one are SAP phrasing out tables and canvas report, or just focusing on stories in future. So as I highlighted in the last slide, canvas and the table reports are getting depreciated in 2025 November. Yes. So if you could see from the last couple of releases, there are no upgrades or release information that is available for the Canvas report. It's all, there was no upgrades. It's all on the focused on the story. So stories are going to be future and not anymore table or canvas or even a dashboards. Yes, even for the LMS, you do have certain templates. And SAP, and the next question is on SAP IAS is required for stories. Does user data have to be stored in SAP IAS? Yes. So basically, the data from SuccessFactors is being loaded to your synced to your IAS and IPF. Sorry, IAS. Okay, are there any KBAs or links that would help to understand how to create certain complex calculations like if else condition? Definitely, we have added few of the additional additional information where you can get started from. But however, to see the complex if else condition or a complex calculation, the technical document that I was referring to has a huge number of complex calculations that you can refer to, so that it will be a baseline for you to refer any kind of formulas. Like for example, it could be for applying syntax to get the syntax and things like that. From there you can go. Okay. I and then another one. Okay, there is another few questions. What are the capabilities for distributing report stories offline, for example emails and multiple stakeholders? You can definitely share the reports across multiple stakeholders, but however, if you could see recently, emailing the report as part of sharing, sharing is not available. It's just that, however, let's say while running the report, depending on the huge number of volume that we have, we can, it may take certain time to run the data, right? So during that time, there is something called like scheduling, like whenever the job is completed, when you schedule it, let's say if you want to schedule that report monthly or something where you want to run that report, you can always enable that completion email notification trigger. So whenever the job is completed, it sends you an email notification so that you can run that particular go to SuccessFactors directly and run the report rather than waiting. But not sending as a email the entire file is not available at the moment. And the next one, how do we know what tables to choose? For example, we have a job information, then basic information, then personal information. Some fields like user ID, first name, which table we are building the query. It looks easy, but when we build the query, it is different result when selecting different queries. Okay, so as I said, the one of the option is, you expand the data from the database, like it suggests you each type of fields that are available in each related table. But however, to know which field are there within which component is something that you will have to expand and look into it or search. But that's something you don't have like a shortcut to do it. But compared to canvas and other reports, it makes a life little more easier by searching it directly. Did I miss any other one? Okay, I could not find any templates for stories LMS. We can look into that queries and get back to you. We will, okay, will we be able to get a recording of this session? Yes, we would be sharing the, Vinisha, do you want to answer this question, please? Recording of this session?
Yeah, you will be getting an email with the assets and also the recording, a link for a recording.
Can we import and export the data source rather than the whole report? I don't think so. So you can't import and export the data source as a whole, but it will be always a whole report. I understand the question would be from which angle, because most of the time, depending on the fields, you may get some errors. The reason why you may not be using potentially all the standard fields, or you might have some custom ones. But the easier approach is get into the technical documentation. Depending on type of the report, you can pick that and expand the data which you are actually which data you would like to refer. So accordingly you can do that. For the LMS related one, I can just check once again whether it is available as part of the content store or not. Sorry about that. Okay, I think I hopefully answered most of the questions. Yep. Let me know if I missed any. I guess I have covered all. Okay. okay, what are the limitations of stories? So some of the limitations, okay, when we were referring to like 2001 and 2002 2002 releases, there was lot of limitations. But however, I can say now the limitations are really have managed well. I can see that there is a lot of progress in terms of the number of limitations are reduced. To call out one of the limitations, RMK, like reporting, sorry, you have recruiting marketing is not yet reported in the story report. But we can, if you need something in more details about everything what is limitation, we can definitely answer to your query. Yeah, maybe offline we can take that. Yeah. uh yep, I think Vinisha, we have answered the questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Pavna. It was an amazing session, and thanks a lot, everyone, for joining. I hope you all enjoyed. If you still have any questions, you can always email us at info@talentteam.com, and we'll get back to you. I'll pass it on to Pavna, and I'll get it answered if you have any. So feel free at even later point of the time, if you want to have anything answered, just drop us an email.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. You will soon be receiving an email with the recordings and the assets, the presentation and everything, along with some other assets that might be useful for you related to this particular topic. Um, yeah, I think that's it for this time.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Pavna, again.
Thank you all. So if you all think that there is any questions that we have missed, please you can email us to info@talentteam.com, as Vinisha was highlighting. And if you think you need a little more details than which we have answered today, please feel free to connect with us. Thank you. I think that's it from my end.
Yeah. Thanks a lot again. Thanks for joining.